Okay, let's start with the story of the Ben Ish Chai. Good way to start. This week's Parsha is about tzitzis and about Godim. And then we'll do 3 Sheilos about tzitzis. Even though this week is the fruits of the Eretz Yisrael, but I don't want to be redundant. We covered that last night. I don't want any Sheilos over there. I wanted new sugya for this morning. So I figured 3 Sheilos. Actually, this week I had a few Sheilos about tzitzis. So, it's a shkocha protest. Rav Shmuel de Yuzida was a Talmud of the Arizal. He wrote a beautiful sefer, beautiful. It's called Medrash Shmuel. It's not a Medrash. It's a pirush, and he was a Talmud of the Arizal, and he wrote a very nice pirush on Pirkei Avos. It's really if you're learning to look at Pirkei Avos, if you want to learn it biyun, and with one of the classic maforshim on Pirkei Avos is the Medrash Shmuel.
Oh,
Medrash Shmuel. It's called Medrash Shmuel. Shmuel de Yuzida. He came into his Rebbe's house once, and the Ariyah Chai, the Arizal, stands up and gave him an unbelievable covet. He said, Rebbe, Torehi v'lilmad anitzorich. I just want to ask a question. Mayam yamayim. What happened today that you're standing up and giving me such unbelievable covet? So the Arizal said, the covet is not for you. The covet is for the Pinchas Ben Yor that's walking with you. So tell me, what did you do that you were zoichet that Pinchas Ben Yor is standing next to you? So the Pinchas Ben Yor, I'll explain soon. He was a Tana. So he said that what happened was at night he was going out to do Tikkun Chatzos. So he was a frigid night. Tzvas gets cold. Tzvas gets cold in the winter.
It can get cold.
Get cold. Yeah. And it was a snowy night, and it was very cold. So he took all his begodim and put them on layers. Whatever clothing, it was so cold. So he put on all his clothing, one layer after the other layer, and he went out with a lantern to go do Tikkun Chatzos, then to sit and learn. And as he's walking, he heard the voice of crying. There were 2 people, they were robbed. What could you rob from someone in Tzvas? What do the people have already? Their clothes. Now they were frigid, they were standing with their shirts and nothing to wear. And their coats and all their good begodim were stolen from them. So the Shmuel said, look, he had a few changes of clothing. He took off all his clothing, almost all his clothing. He was freezing cold. He went back home. The only clothing he had left was his big day Shabbos. He says, that's why you see me now wearing, even though middle of the week, I'm wearing my big day Shabbos. So the Pinchas Ben Yor said, that's why, the Arizal said, that's why the Pinchas Ben Yor is standing next to you. Because the Pinchas Ben Yor, his whole life was dedicated, even though he was a Tana, his life was dedicated to Pidyon Shvuyim and Gemilus Chasodim and helping Yidden. You think all the Tanoim, we think we're sitting Yom and Balayla in an attic and learning, and but it's not that way. The Pinchas Ben Yor was traveling from place to place and collecting money for Pidyon Shvuyim and Gemilus Chasodim and Achnosas Kala, and that's what he was doing. He was like, what you call today an Askan. And because you did such an unbelievable thing, the Neshama, the Pinchas Ben Yor, is now with you. That's why I stood up for you. Special mitzvah in this week's Parsha about tzitzis. Then in the middle of the week I had a question about tzitzis. Adafka was running, and they know the moment with the Dvar Halacha Nichshul, but sometimes you make a mistake. But I was right before the Chasna. I ran to get something for my daughter, and I come into the apartment. The Chasna's there, and he's getting dressed. So he says, "Oh, I turned on my new tzitzis. I make a bracha." So the Emma says it's a shaila. For some people have the shaila. It's not such an uncommon shaila. There are some people that every Friday before Shabbos, when they go to mikveh, they change to big day Shabbos. They have a special tzitzis for Shabbos. The Emma says there are people that sometimes in the summer they get fashvitz so much that they have to change your tzitzis because the tzitzis are wet through and through. I mean, it's not a little wet. You change your undershirt. Especially wool tzitzis, you get very, very wet. But even cotton tzitzis, you can get wet. So I want to change it. So that was the question. So for a moment I was thinking, oh, but the person had in mind in the morning, he had in mind, he knew Chassan knew that he bought, but it's not true. It's not true. It doesn't matter if you had in mind, you didn't have in mind in the morning. Even in the morning you knew that you have a brand new talis and at 3 o'clock in the afternoon you're going to change. You knew you're going to go jogging or you're going to play basketball and you're going to get fashvitz and you're going to change, or it was Erev Shabbos in the morning, you knew it's your minute for Yomim Yomima, that when you go to the mikveh later you change to a new begodim and you have a new pair of tzitzis, you have to make a new bracha for the tzitzis. It's kemat muskim from all the poskim, almost no choyluk to it. And I'm appella myself that I made a mistake at this. Baruch Hashem, the Eibishter helped her right before the chuppah. My father asked the chassan, you put on a new pair of tzitzis? So he said, yeah. You made a bracha? So he says, well, your son told me not to. So he said, nah, you have to make a bracha. Okay.
But wait, it's too late already.
It wasn't too late. Doesn't matter.
So you could do it?
Yeah, it was before the shkia. And then I'm surprised at myself even that I forgot, because I was once mine in the Halacha. It was a funny thing happened. I was at a chasana in Monsey, and the photographer tells right before you get the chassan dressed, the photographer tells the chassan, oh, it's before shkia, make sure you say shechiyonu on the new tzitzis.
The photographer said?
Yeah.
Shechiyonu.
Shechiyonu.
On the new talis.
And the new talis, the talis god. The new
No, not talis. Talk to her. Talis.
talis. Chassan's not going with the talis god. He put on new clothing. Oh no, it was a boy from Beis Menachem Mem. It was a talis cotton he put on before his wedding, a new talis cotton. Most chassanim put on new begodim. They're going to a chasana, new kapota, new shirt. Probably by everyone here, by your chasana.
You're supposed to
put
do
it.
it, right?
Yeah, is it shtei? Okay.
It's not penny.
So he's okay. I said, what? A talis cotton cost anywhere from $20 to $30. I mean, no, we spoke about it once that Minchas Saloza used to make only made shechion on new begodim that had a chshivas like big day Shabbos, but talis cotton it just doesn't. So I said, who told you such a thing? The photographer says in the name of a very choshev Rav. So next time I met this Rav, I asked him. The photographer said that always by a chasana. What? He said, what are you talking about? He said, but chasana always puts on a brand new tzitzis. Chasanim usually don't realize they made a bracha in the morning, and they think that the bracha is chal for every tzitzis. So if it's before shkia, I tell the chasanim to make a bracha on the tzitzis. I never said to make shechiyonu on the tzitzis. The photographer made a mistake. The rabbi didn't mean to make bracha mitzvah tzitzis because he made it in the morning. So the Rav must have meant shechiyonu. So the photographer made a kal v'chomer and a gzeira shava, and then made a binyan av, and started paskening when in the absence of the rabbi. The photographer started paskening halachas. So I was saying to myself, ay. Everyone should stick to this thing. The caterer should cook, and the photographer should take pictures, and let it all be beside the kiddushin, and the haklal b'koyma yovi b'shalom.
Sometimes the photographer likes to run the wedding, so the pictures like to run the wedding. So he's telling you, even that part is money.
So let's look at what the Alter Rebbe writes, which is a good sikum of the sugya, and then we'll look at some of the other poskim. The Alter Rebbe says, "Melovish talis cotton bebeisei." Person puts on a talis cotton in his house. Av b'shemerich lo l'tzat b'tzitzis. Al derashin is born. Mekol makim emach kachir l'beis hakneses b'tzat b'talis gadol. Even if he didn't make mitzvah tzitzis, he made all the sata b'tzitzis. It's the same bracha like talis cotton, talis gadol. He made the same. Whatever. Sorich la'azel avarich alav. Gam kam l'satef. He has to make another bracha. Ven nifter b'bracha l'shoyna. Shem da'alicha b'beis knesses choshev hefsek. Walking from his house to the Beis Knesset is a hefsek. Even though he didn't speak in between. Even his house is right near the basic Knesses. Oh, here, I want to get you. אפילו רויץ לצאת בטלס גודל בבייסי, רק שקודם שמצאת בטלס גודל יוצא חוץ בפסח בייסי וחוזר. You put on the talis cot and you made a bracha, and you walked out to your backyard and then you came back. Have a hefsek me bracha sheberech al talis cot and levishes the talis godel tzaralaz lavarich. This walking out between one pier and the other pier is already a hefsek. Lo yotze pesach beyse v'tam afilin berech al talis cot and v'cheder ze v'chol olich l'sat v'talis godel v'cheder acher beyse bayis. If you went one room to the other room, it's tzaralaz lavarich. Kimish shnei chadorim b'bayis echad l'choshev hefsek mashalach v'mezel azeh. But it has to be made him afsek b'sicha b'dorim v'chedim that you didn't make a hefsek b'sicha. So if you walk from one house to the other house, that's already a hefsek. Or if you spoke, it doesn't help now that you had bekavona that you're going to put on the talis godel. If you just walked from one house to the other house, or you just spoke, and you're even standing in the same house, it doesn't help that you had bedas. It's a new thing, and therefore that's called a hefsek, and you have to make a new bracha. Now, there is an opinion of the Magen Avraham in the Shulchan Aruch that says that if you speak between, you had in mind befedish that you're going to put on the talis kot and the talis godel, for example, 2 pairs of talis, and you spoke in between. The Magen Avraham says you don't have to make another bracha. Why? It says Shulchan Aruch in Yeridei says that the sheikh shecht and he's shechting a lot of cattle. So sometimes you have to speak. You have to talk to the goy. You have to say this or that. So in the script, the Simon Yud Tes in Yeridei Sifei, it says that if you speak, you have to make another bracha. The Yeshayimrim, the Ramah brings Yeshayimrim, that it's not a hefsek. I mean, you don't have to make another bracha. It's not a hefsek. So, Zag the Magen Avraham, the same thing here. Speaking between putting on one pair and the other pair of tzitzis is not a hefsek. Alter Rebbe Kuntas Achren says that, I mean, even though the Chayr is Sofik Brachas Lahakom, so you have a Machloikis here. He says, but I want to tell you, there's this concept, Sofik Brachas Lahakom. But it doesn't mean that any time there's a descending opinion, that's it, no bracha. It's not every time there's another opinion. It has to be where, you know. Yeah, but the bracha is derabon. The bracha is derabon. And usually it's a bracha is laka. Well endowed to without. But it has to be like sort of a sofik, even if it's not a sofik, a shokol, but the both shittas are on the table. If most of the poskim, sugin the alma, sort of push away a shita, I'm just telling you my observation from poskim. Even though it is the golden rule of sofik brachas laka, it's the general outlook. The same thing here. Alter Rebbe says the shach, and we're always going. We're very makbid to go. People in Poland go like the Taz, but I mean, Baderach Klal, Ashkenazim, we follow the shach very strongly. So the shach befedish is doichelish the Ramah. He says, nah, forget about that yeshem. Forget about it. You have to make another bracha. The Alter Rebbe says the same thing here. So. Bottom line, if you put on talis in the morning, what's the difference that you had in mind that you spoke in between? Many hours later, you put on the other pair. After you finish jogging, after you finish your basketball, after you went out of mikveh of Shabbos, achos on 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so you have to make another bracha. And then I realized today that even according to my mistake, I was thinking according to the Magen Avraham, that it was still wrong, because I see that there is a beautiful Rabbi Akiva Eger. Rabbi Akiva Eger says that even according to the Magen Avraham was only talking about that you put on 2 pairs of tzitzis, and it wasn't a small hefsek, 5 minutes in between, and you spoke in between. But if you put on the tzitzis in the morning, you have in mind at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm going to put on another pair. That doesn't count, right? That doesn't count as the Rabbi Akiva Eger says even the Magen Avraham will agree over here that that's off. That's midan abracha shas levish hifsik. In other words, he made an unbelievable hefsek. Not just that he spoke a few words. Just 5 hours later, forget about it. You have to make another bracha. So I was thinking of the Magen Avraham. Even that's wrong. When you buy a new pair of tzitzis, even if in the morning you knew that you're putting on a new pair of tzitzis, or you're changing your tzitzis, you knew you're going to go exercising, or you knew it's Erev Shabbos, you're putting on, it doesn't matter, you make a new bracha. You make a new bracha. There's an interesting lumdus here. The Nalicha Shloime Zalman Auerbach, Zechariah Bracha, says that a person is about to keh and he blows shofar. Say it's a blosach nasht. So one of the people in the shul brings over another shofar. He says you don't have to make another bracha. But the thing is that this is different than the story of the shofar. The shofar is the bracha on the gavra, sort of. It's on the mitzvah. It's nothing to do with this shofar. It's nothing to do with this shofar. It's on the mitzvah l'shmoya kol shofar. When you make a bracha on the tzitzis, it's sort of on the chefza. It's on this period tzitzis. Elamai, just like meshchita, the bracha is on this cow. But the bracha, if you have in mind that you're gonna keep on shechting, even if you didn't befedish in mind, but the other cows are here, the pashtus you had in mind, or mistam. Well, basically, we're saying that this bracha is on all these cows. But the same thing by tzitzis. That the bracha, if you're putting on 2 pairs of tzitzis, one after the other, talis kotan and talis godel, one after the other, without a hefsek. So this bracha is on the cheftz of this talis and the cheftz of that talis. But now, if you bring another talis, a person didn't think of it, and someone runs in and brings him a new pair of tzitzis, he has to make a new bracha.
Really?
Yeah, because the bracha here is on the cheftz of the talis.
What about using the restroom wearing the same talis cotton? Using the restroom, take off the talis cotton and put it back on the same.
No, that's different, because the same talis cotton is different. Because he already made a bracha, and it was chal, and this is what we'll talk about now. This is the next Sheilah. It happened here on Yom Kippur. So when I came back from the break, Baruch Hashem, Beis Menachem is brought, and that you should be a hefsek. So Baruch Hashem, Beis Menachem is Mahadan and the hefsek. In other words, some shuls, the hefsek is like 5 minutes or 10 minutes. The truth is, when you have a hefsek that is a healthy hefsek, people could rest up and daven later with better kavanah. If you go, it's very hard to daven a whole day straight. That's just the way it is. That's
and come late for mincha. They go to relax and they.
Doesn't matter. But then they daven with good. No, I'm talking about Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur. So here usually there's a nice break, nice break. So there was a discussion when I came back. I saw there was a discussion about because someone was saying you have to make another bracha. Took the towel and make another bracha. Another person said, I had kavona. I befedish had kavona. I mean, who doesn't have kavona? When you take off your towel, you know you're going to put it on for minchas nila. So there was an unbelievable discussion going on. Okay. And I didn't get a chance. The people that were in that discussion are not here right now. I didn't get a chance to say something, but right away it was started mincha. So I had intended to. So now this morning I was thinking, and I even put this away right after Yom Kippur. I said, because in Crown Heights there's a beautiful book that's given out by the Bezdin of Crown Heights. But I think this is actually a toss. They write like this: person takes off by the break the talis, godel, and then he puts it back on.
Doesn't it depend how long the break is? Because I remember hearing on Rosh Hashanah, if the break is more than 2 hours,
so
that Rav said that you should.
So we'll get to the time, right? So there is, right. We'll get to this in a second. Right, exactly. There is a time. There's 2 things. There's 2 ingredients. There's a time and das. Basically, so before I go into the whole thing, the bottom line is, in order to stick with the first bracha, you have to have, there's other conditions, but at least for our discussion today, there's 2 basic conditions you must have, which I would call tarti l'tivusa. You must have tarti l'tivusa. You have to have that befedish had in mind you're going to put it back on, and that the hefsek zman was a small hefsek zman. What is considered a small hefsek zman? Don't want to go into the slumdus again because we once did it. It's an unbelievable geschmack alumnus, a letter from the Rebbe, which But just we did it once. I'm just going to tell you the upshot of it was that the Rebbe's diuk from different places in Shulchan Aruch was that the Rebbe was medayik lagabe sukkah and lagabe tzitzis and lagabe tefillin, that everything the hefsek is as big as it takes to do this thing. A hefsek, if you go out of the sukkah, how long is a hefsek? How long does it take you to eat a meal? If you took off your tefillin, how long is a hefsek? How long do you daven? You took off a talis, how long is a hefsek? Usually put on the talis before the tefillin. And how long do you wear your talis for? You usually wear in the morning your talis for an hour. So now, if you took off your talis, you need to have tarati letivusa. You need to have, number one, you had the feidish mind you're going to put back on the talis, which obviously by Yom Kippur, the break, everyone has a mind they're going to put back on the talis. Number two, it has to be that the break was less than an hour. I'm a little bit, because this is my understanding.
What does every point say? You have to make
I'll read it in a second. The Rebbe's medayik is Shulchan Aruch Lagabi Sukkah says 1 hour, Lagabi Tefillin it says 2 hours, and Lagabi Tzitzis says 3 hours. The Rebbe says the Sukkah usually a Suda is Erech Shah, and Tefillin the Rebbe says to daven for at least an hour and a half.
Which tefillah are we talking about?
Shachris. The Rebbe says the regular Shachris has to say the Rosh Yeshiva in the Yeshivas Rebbe Yitzchak Yochanan all the time quotes this Alter Rebbe in Yeshiva. They know it. This is Yedua in Yeshiva because he quotes it all the time. So the Rebbe says, so therefore tefillin is 2 hours. The hefsek of tzitzis is even longer, about 3 hours.
By the way, in today's in the Ramach this week, so Shulchan Aruch, it says it has to take a half an hour.
Okay. But lanius daiti, I'm just saying, lanius daiti, it's totally how long you daven. Because Nageya, the Rebbe's diuk was based on what those people daven. Okay, it's all Zayin. Okay, back to here. In the book, it says here like this: person has a break in Yom Kippur, takes off the towels. Now he puts it back on. Even if you didn't have a mind to put it back on, since you had the talis cotton on you, that's good enough. Okay, so let's read inside the Alter Rebbe and we'll see. The Alter Rebbe writes like this: If you have a fetish in mind, you're going to put it back on. Then you don't have to make another brach. If you took off the talis cotton, because you already made the brach and you put it on. So on this tzitzis, you're going to put this pair of tzitzis on. You took it off and you have the mind to put it on. It's not a hefsek in the mitzvah. Because you're putting on this same talis, this cheftza, this talis, the brach was already chal on this. On this talis. In the previous Sheilos, he put on a different talis. If he took it off and he didn't have in mind to put it back on until after a few hours, if you said I'm gonna put it on after kama shos, the Rebbe thinks that means probably about 3 hours. Again, kama shos here means because the Rebbe is talking about people that daven barichas like this, but the word kama shos is as long as it takes you usually to daven shachris. So if you had in mind that, say you daven shachris usually a little over an hour, but you said the break now is 2 hours, I'm not for sure not putting it on for another 2 hours.
But the shachris of the Musaf together takes 5 hours.
No, we're talking regular davening.
Regular.
Kippur davening.
Not the davening.
You have to.
He's saying it's Yom Tov davening 6 hours.
He's even a Yom Tov davening. To say Yom Tov davening is about 3 hours. You can't say you go the hefsek should be on Yom Kippur and share of Yom Kippur.
The is on Yom Kippur, so maybe you count the davening according to Yom Kippur, no?
I don't know. I think that would be a pedal god. I hear you, Taina. I hear. Now that you're saying it, I hear you, Taina. It makes a big difference. We'll get now to that.
It makes a big difference.
But because no one has a break as big as 5 hours. Even in Beis Menachem Mendel, where we have Baruch Hashem, but you don't matzliach to make such a break.
Unless you daven, if you daven mates, then you could have a 5 hour.
If you daven nates, you're probably not having a long break.
Well,
Anyway.
No, if you
Daven
daven
nates, they're down till
nates, and
5
you
o'clock
start
in the
5 in the morning, you're by 10 o'clock you're done with Marsov, let's say, and then you
Yom
daven
Kippur.
Mincha. Yeah, there are people
Yeah.
who
Maybe
daven
to
nates.
daven mincha early.
Okay.
And then
Let's continue reading.
early.
I feel him. Take it from
Yeah, you're right.
If you had in mind you're going to put on the talis after kama shos, then you changed your mind and you said you're going to put it on, take it from miyad. I don't care that you have your talis cotton on you. I feel him lo yotza mi pesach beisa, even if you didn't go out from your door. It does. I don't care that you have your talis cotton on you. I don't care you have your talis cotton on you. If you said that I'm not putting this talis on until acha kama shos, you said I'm not putting it on until after kama shos, it doesn't help that you have talis cotton. So even if you have talis cotton on you, you need to have two tanoim, that you're putting it on within the framework of kama shos, and that you had in mind actually you're going to put it back on. So I hear a Shiloh Taka, you say maybe Yom Kippur, the half. To me it's Divrei Nevius. But could be, I hear the Taina. I would say that the average hefsek, even on Shabbos, shouldn't be more than 3 hours. So if the break happened to be this year, the break was about 3 hours. It was a very long break this year.
Wow.
It was a very punkt to happen. Baal Musaf hat gemacht, der Kenak ganz gut, and they decided to make Mincha late. Yeah, it was a little later, because they didn't want to have that at the end of the fast, that, you finish Nila, and then it's like waiting.
I'll tell you, the
Start-
Reform probably had 3-hour breaks.
So,
Maybe 4 hours.
Or Reform David?
I don't know if they know of any Sheilos about making bracha and talis. The shear of their talisim. Hopefully they don't know about making a bracha, because there'll be a bracha l'batola. The scarf they have is there are people that b'chalal never make a bracha on a talis cotton because they're choishish. Maybe this is not the shear. That's not. But okay, but we do make our minig is to make a bracha talis cotton. But those prayer shawls have no bracha on it.
Zonis.
They're no bracha anyway.
Even if you had in mind you're going to put it back on, and then he changed his mind. Okay, but what's negated to us is really the previous sif. One more, quickly, we have now 5 minutes. I'm going to sign with a. So bottom line is, you have to have tartil tevusa. You have to have that you did it within the framework of kama shos. You actually put it back on within the framework of kama shos. Plus that you had in mind that you're going to put it back on. Third thing, the beautiful thing from Sefer Arevna from Rabbi Zilberstein tells a story from Kloisenberger Rebbe. Unbelievable story. After the war, he was mishtoikik to have a pair of tzitzis. He had 2 pairs of tzitzis. So obviously for himself, he put on a pair of tzitzis. And then he
sew them together.
whatever, he took his shirt, he ripped it, he made himself a pair of tzitzis. Then he had an extra pair of tzitzis. And there was a ton of survivors around him, and each one wanted to be zoiche finally to do the mitzvah of tzitzis. So he was thinking to himself, what is he going to do? What are you going to give? You're going to tear the baby apart? You're going to give everyone one tzitzit? So he thought to himself, the best thing is to make a girdle. All those that want to make a girdle, whoever zoiche gets the tzitzis. As he's thinking, there was a bocher, Mendel Pinchik, and he's decided to be a chochem. He takes his shirt and he rips it in a way that becomes chayiv min ha-Torah to have tzitzis, and he comes over and he says, I have a chiv deraisa now to wear tzitzis. So the Kloisenberger Rebbe said, look, I already had in my mind that I'm going to give a girdle. So I already in my mind gave it away to the tzivur. How can I take it away from them? Because you went and you ripped your talis and now you said you're chayiv deraisa. It's not chiv, it's not in me, it's on you. And I already gave it in my mind away to the tzibur. He said, you know what? I'm going to make a girdle, and I'm going to put you into the girdle. if you really need meant to get it, you'll get it. He made a girdle, and Taka the Bacha was Zoicha again.
He got it.
And he got it.
Wow.
He got it.
That's amazing.
So just like the start, I started off with a story about Mesidus Nefesh on the what's it called, on the Kiyama Mitzvahs. So I'm finishing off with the story of a person that had Mesidus Nefesh for Mitzvahs. Atake.
Did he tell that story? This Yitzhak?
No, the Klozim Magen never told the story. Okay, the Rebbe shall helfen. Chazal say that the special schus of this mitzvah, the Yid will have 2,800 avodim. We're going to have shamoshim and the Babiyas Mashiach Tzidkenu. And we see already B'hoyim Malachim Umnayich. It says, and we saw recently the president of the United States of America, Yikuman Ayid, Metabord and Peyas, and he helped them walk off the stage at the morning breakfast prayer. So we see a kiyum of B'hoyim Malachim Umnayich. They should help.
He's going to speak in the UN.
Who? Yeah? Wow.
National Assembly.
Say Bazoi, Neighbor shall help from the schus of mitzvah tzitzis, should be Zoichatak at the Gula mitzvah Shlema de Mashiach Tzadkenu.
Oh,